Yo, what's up, guys? ONeill, and today, man, I'll be talking about the Brooklyn Nets and how they have completely turned around the season. They started off the season extremely rocky and somehow have turned it around. But other than that, let's get straight into the video. So as we know, the Brooklyn Nets started off the season extremely rocky. They were 2-5, and they had to end up ultimately firing their head coach Steve Nash after a 2-5 record. The funny part about all of this is they fired him after a win. Prior to the game against the Pacers, they were 1-5. They beat the Pacers, I believe, on a back-to-back, and after that game, he gets fired. The thing with Steve Nash, just from the outside looking in, he always seemed like a player coach, a guy that players were cool with, but when it came to business and actually being serious and calling plays and doing this, especially in practice as well and also on the court, it felt like the players did not respect it. I remember hearing about a rumbling of Kyrie and KD not wanting a coach that was super serious when they came to Brooklyn, just because they also ended up trading for James Harden as well. Now, you don't need a elite head coach to coach the likes of Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden. Definitely three guys that are all top 75 players in NBA history. Even though Kyrie wasn't technically named there, he is a top 75 player of all time, in my opinion. So after they fired Steve Nash, they ended up hiring Jacques Vaughn, their assistant head coach. He had the interim tag, and then after that, they took away the interim tag after rumblings of them going for head coach Ime Udoka, who's currently suspended for off-the-court issues. They ended up hiring Jacques Vaughn as the full-time head coach for the remainder of the NBA season. And after that, this is where things started to turn up for the Brooklyn Nets. They actually had a coach that was a veteran that used to coach in the NBA for the Little Magic. That ended up not working out in the end, and then he ended up bouncing around the NBA, ultimately leading to the Brooklyn Nets as the assistant head coach, and he was just there waiting. And then all of a sudden, Steve Nash gets fired. He's the next man up, and they have not looked back since the hiring of Jacques Vaughn. He's a guy that players actually respect, a veteran head coach, and this is what you absolutely love to see. So since that 2-5 record, the Brooklyn Nets are sitting at, now currently making this video, third best in the Eastern Conference with a record of 22-12, and are winners of 9 of their last 10 games, and are currently also on a 9-game winning streak. Things are clicking for the Brooklyn Nets, and this is a very scary team. This is not the same team from last year that got swept by the Boston Celtics in just disgusting fashion. This team is different, and the Brooklyn Nets are finally here. And this all starts with superstar Kevin Durant, who is definitely cementing a very good MVP conversation in the NBA so far this season. As so far this season, in 33 games, Kevin Durant is averaging 30 points a game right in the dot, 6th best in the NBA, 6.6 rebounds and 5.3 assists, while also shooting 56.3% from the field and 37.3% from the three-point line. As we know, Kevin Durant is an absolute mid-range assassin. He's up there with the likes of guys like DeMar DeRozan as being the best mid-range shooters in the NBA. He gets to his spot, and he's so tall that even if you get to a spot with him, he has the ability to shoot over you with his silky smooth mid-range shot. And he also is a really good three-point shooter as well. He just doesn't shoot them as much as mid-range shots, because the mid-range shot is just absolutely money and absolutely automatic for Kevin Durant as well. But he also can attack the rim as well. He's still very athletic and definitely crafty around the rim. He just chooses to get most of his buckets from the mid-range, because that is his bread and butter. That is where he finds the most ease in his game to get some automatic buckets. KD has also picked it up this season in terms of his defense, being one of the Brooklyn Nets' best defender. It definitely helps having a guy that's almost 7 foot tall that exerts that much energy on offense and is still a pretty reliable guy on the defensive side of the basketball as well, which you just absolutely love to see out of your superstar player. The next guy I want to talk about is Kyrie Irving. Obviously, we know star player when he is fully healthy and actually on the court. He's one of the best point guards in basketball, and honestly one of the best players in basketball when he's fully healthy, because he is so damn good. I was watching the Brooklyn Nets versus Cavs game yesterday, and there was like 2 stretches in the first, second half of the game. Kyrie Irving just out of nowhere just looked like it was shot out of a rocket. He made like 3 threes in a row. Second half of the game, made like 3 threes in a row and just went on his own personal like 9-0-10 run versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. He is just an automatic walking bucket, and he is so crafty and so fun to watch. This season, Kyrie Irving has also been very, very good. Like I said, when he is actually playing on the court, because we know he dealt with some off the court issues, leading him to be suspended for a good amount of games by team owner Joe Tsai. When he's on the court, he is an absolute bucket and an absolute treat to watch. So far this season, in 24 games, Kyrie Irving is averaging 26 points on a dot, 4.9 rebounds, 4.6 assists, while shooting 48.7% from the field and 35.7% from the 3-point line. Kyrie Irving is an absolute treat to watch, super fun to watch. His 3-point shot in particular as of recent has been falling, and his ability to get to the rim, because he is just letting out of a bottle, he's just extremely quick. And he's also been efficient as of recent as well, which you absolutely love to see, shooting 50% in the month of December. He is definitely looking like a real number 2 guy with Kevin Durant. If he can actually stay healthy and actually stay on the court, this is one of the best number 2 guys in the NBA. And the fact that him and KD have a really good relationship overall, it definitely helps, because this duo knows how to win, and this duo is extremely fun to watch. Let's just hope they have a really deep playoff run, because Kevin Durant x Kyrie Irving, yeah, that duo is definitely amongst the best in the NBA. Super fun to watch. They have a really good connection, and 2 elite players on the same team, and you have a really good team of role players around them to help them out. Yeah, this is a really good duo. And then there's Ben Simmons, who really is the guy that can turn the Nets from where they are now to an actual legitimate NBA Finals contender. Ben Simmons this season has averaged 8.3 points, 6.8 rebounds, 6.2 assists, while shooting 61% from the field. He, as of recent, has definitely picked it up, especially in terms of his aggressiveness. As of recent, watching the Brooklyn Nets, he has developed this kind of hook shot around the rim. He's been going for dunks. Yes, he's still very, very passive, but he definitely has been a whole lot more aggressive as of recently. The numbers won't jump off the boards from you, but when you actually sit down and watch him play, you will see that when he's going around the rim now, he's not just having a ton of vision and just looking to see who he's going to pass the ball to. He's actually looking for a shot, and he actually, like I said, has developed this like kind of like a sky hook a la Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, just like some craftiness around the rim. He's being a lot more aggressive. Obviously, we know how good he is as a defender this season as well. Definitely the Brooklyn Nets' best defender. I don't think he's even unlocked his defensive potential as much as he possibly can. There's still more to be unlocked, which obviously comes with actually staying on the court and just bringing that energy day in and day out, as he's averaged 1.4 steals per game this season as well. He has definitely been great, definitely being their best playmaker, their best defender. Definitely a lot on the shoulders of Ben Simmons, but he also does get paid the big bucks, and he's a 3-time All-Star, so with that comes a lot of responsibility. But Ben Simmons has definitely been picking it up as of late, looking like as close as a complete player without a jump shot as you possibly can be, doing it all in terms of scoring at a decent rate, rebounding the ball very well, and also being a really good playmaker as well. This is what Ben Simmons is doing this season, and he has definitely been picking it up over the last couple of months. The next guy I want to talk about is RoyceONeale, who the Brooklyn Nets acquired this season from the Utah Jazz for a first-round pick. Very underrated move, in my opinion. RoyceONeale is one of the NBA's best 3-and-D players, which is extremely crucial, especially in the playoffs, as you want to have that one guy you want to put on one of the team's best offensive players to go ahead and try to contain them, while also having the ability to trust them with a wide open 3 and the ability to knock that down. So this season, in 32 games, RoyceONeale has averaged 9.5 points, 4.9 rebounds, and 4.3 assists, while shooting 42.9% from the 3-point line and 40.3% from the field. Like I said, RoyceONeale is a 3-and-D marksman. He has a better 3-point percentage than he does a field goal percentage. That just lets you know that he is a 3-and-D guy. But he's also definitely stepped up when needed. I believe he has a triple-double this season. So when players are out for the Brooklyn Nets, he is definitely stepping up. And he has definitely been durable this year for the Brooklyn Nets as a really good 3-and-D guy. And just doing the dirty work. RoyceONeale does the dirty work. You don't really hear too much about him, but he does the dirty work for this team. He knows his role of being a 3-and-D guy, and he absolutely excels at doing so. And then there's Nicholas Claxton, starting center for the Brooklyn Nets, who I like. And so far this season is averaging 11.8 points, 8.4 rebounds, and 1.4 assists per game, while also averaging 2.3 blocks per game as well. Claxton has definitely made a lot of noise this season, especially early on in the season. He definitely is a really good shot blocker, which the Brooklyn Nets absolutely loves. The only really knock on Nicholas Claxton, obviously, in terms of usual big men outside of the likes of like a Jokic, Embiid, Bam, stuff like that, is the fact that his free throw percentage is under 46% at 45.9. Obviously, we know in clutch situations they go ahead and just do a hack of Claxton and stuff like that. And that definitely has cost them a couple of games in years past, including this season as well, if I'm not mistaken. Just really his inability to hit the free throw shot consistently, that definitely is a big knock on him. But aside of everything else, he's been very, very good this year for the Brooklyn Nets, as he has a field goal percentage of 73%, obviously getting most of his shots from inside the paint. That really does not shock anybody whatsoever. He is really good around the rim. He's extremely athletic. He can really get up, really good rebounder, really good shot blocker, just an all-around really underrated center in my opinion for the Brooklyn Nets in Nicholas Claxton. And then there's Seth Curry as well, who I've been a fan of for a while. Just a really underrated player. This season for the Brooklyn Nets, he's averaging 8.5 points, 2 rebounds, 2.3 assists, only 22 games. Definitely missed a lot of games this season. Definitely want to see him more on the court. But he has shot 43% from the field and 39.3% from the three-point line as well. And he also is a pretty underrated playmaker when he actually is tasked with having to go ahead and pass the ball, because we know he's an absolute marksman. He can create his own shot, and he has a really good 3-point and mid-range shot. Obviously, he is also another key to this Nets team that if he's fully unlocked, that is another realm of excitement for the Brooklyn Nets, because when he gets hot, he is a force to be reckoned with. He is lightning in a bottle, can come off the bench, can start, and just provide you with instant offense. Yeah, he is a damn bucket. And then another similar guy to Seth Curry, a guy that was actually in trade talks that I wouldn't be shocked if he gets traded, Joe Harris of the Brooklyn Nets. Absolute marksman, former NBA Foot Locker 3-point contest winner, 8.5 points a game this year. He's averaging 2.8 rebounds and 1.7 assists. We know he is just an absolute marksman, shooting 42.5% from the field and 38.2% from the 3-point line. Like I said earlier, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up getting traded, just because he and Seth Curry basically play the same position, just being absolute marksmen. The thing with Seth Curry is he can actually create his own shot, while Joe Harris is much more of a catch and shoot guy. Joe Harris, he has been pretty streaky this year. He's had games where he shot 4 for 6 from 3, and then the next game will shoot 1 for 6. Next game will shoot 1 for 7. Like, he's just an extremely streaky shooter, which is why I wouldn't be surprised that they ended up going ahead and trading him for a guy that can go ahead and provide a little bit more, maybe on the defensive side of the basketball. But at the end of the day, we'll see about all of that. But when he's hot, he definitely is one of the NBA's best three-point shooters, which is why he was paid a good amount just to go ahead and catch and shoot from the three-point line, because when he's hot, he is an absolute marksman from the three-point line. Now, a guy I'm very excited to talk about is TJ Warren, who has only played 10 games this season. He only played 4 games last year for the Indiana Pacers after a massive injury, I believe, in his leg last season, earlier on into the season last season. He has been huge for the Brooklyn Nets season, averaging 10.3 points, 3.4 rebounds, 1.8 assists. He comes off the bench and he provides instant offense at the small forward / power forward position. Last night, watching him against the Cleveland Cavaliers, he looked incredible. He's looked great, especially for the last 5 games, 6 games. He has been amazing. Last night, off the bench against the Cleveland Cavaliers, put up 23 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 9 for 14 from the field, and 2 for 4 from 3. The thing with Warren is he can create his own shot, and watching him, I just remembering his mid-range shot is absolutely money. You would think that he and Kevin Durant are getting in the lab with Kyrie Irving as well, another good mid-range shooter, getting in the lab, getting into practice, and working on that mid-range shot, because that mid-range shot is absolutely money. It's absolute cash money, And TJ Warren, again, is another one of these X factors. If TJ Warren can continue playing at this high pace off the bench, that just makes the Brooklyn Nets even better, because he's been super efficient this season. And if it can go ahead and keep that up, like this season, he's shooting 55.7% from the field in 10 games, so don't overreact too much. 38.9% from the field, like, in 10.3 points per game. Like, he's doing his thing off the bench. And hey, TJ Warren, remember Bubble TJ Warren? He was going off the Pacers. TJ Warren is a bucket. TJ Warren is a bucket. So having that off the bench, if he can continue to keep this up, this is a very scary team. Like, the bench even is scary. Like, this Nets team is insane. And then last but not least, you have quietly one of the NBA's best three-point shooters, especially in the corners. You have Watanabe of the Brooklyn Nets, who is averaging 8 points a game, 2.9 rebounds, and 1 assist per game, while shooting 56.9% from the field and 54% from the three-point line. Watanabe has quietly been one of the best shooters in the NBA this season. And that's insane, because coming off of last season, he was on the Raptors and on the Grizzlies, if I'm not mistaken. His biggest moment from last year, I remember, was him getting dunked on when he was on the Raptors by Anthony Edwards. His biggest moment this season was hitting a good amount of clutch shots from the corner in particular. Watanabe has been insanely clutch this season. I feel like he's always open in the corner, and he's clutch. He is just clutch. I don't know how we went from last season really being an afterthought, I feel like, in the NBA, to now quietly being one of the best statistical shooters in the NBA, especially from the corners, where it looks like he's just absolutely money. The lefty sniper in the corner, it feels like he can't miss. It really feels like he cannot miss at all. Very underrated player as well. And he also can go ahead and attack the rim as well, which you absolutely see. At 6'8", 215, Watanabe has been having a tremendous season, and definitely helping the Brooklyn Nets this season with his just superb shooting and his ability to attack the rim as well, and also being a pretty damn good player on the defensive side of the basketball, as being another one of their 3-and-D guys as well, which, like I said, teams definitely will need, especially come playoff time. So yeah, man, the Brooklyn Nets have absolutely turned it around. That's how they turned it around. Just the depth of the team, the hiring of Jacques Vaughn, and just the cohesiveness of the team. The Brooklyn Nets are here, and there's a reason why I believe I ranked them top 5 for the Eastern Conference standing predictions. This is a team that are very, very high, and especially if they can go ahead and trade a guy like a Joe Harris, get that money off the books, and try to get one of those 3-and-D guys, or just another one of those guys off the bench that can help them in other ways that the bench isn't preparing for them now. The Brooklyn Nets will get even scarier, okay? But yeah, Ben Simmons, V's fully untapped. Yeah, this is nice. This is very, very nice, okay? But other than that, yo, that is the video. Go down below, drop a like, comment down below, sub up. Just follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and TikTok. Your boy John. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'm out, man. Peace.